Here we are at the Maelstrom. The OCV has been busy assembling huge fleets here, and eventually they will unleash them on the galaxy. Sometimes they do that, hold off invasions for a while, so that they can breach heavy defenses with an overkill of ships all at once. And it seems like this is happening right now. Our new allies have jumped in. This is the Phanon colony ship. So you might be familiar with the Phanon Corporation from Litcube's universe. But here Phanon works completely different. They are basically another Xenon branch, a new development by the machines. But the OCV kind of botched their programming, so to speak, and now they have gone rogue and are cooperating with you to shut down this big red portal here where all the nasty machines are coming from. And Phanon is a bit special in that they are, as another terraformer branch, they are neutral to the machines. They do not attack them. And this is the same for this ship here, the Xenon freighter I'm sitting in. That's why I can be here and not get obliterated. And the Phanon ships are the same. And you can use this colony ship to give them their first sector, so to speak. So you can convert this entire ship into an outpost for Phanon. And this will start them for real. But you have to be careful, because the other factions, so the Argons, Borons, Split and the like, they don't trust Phanon. They are not outright hostile, but they have dynamic relations. So they can go to war and then make truces again. And if you put the first Phanon sector next to a powerful faction, then Phanon can get wiped out. And this will immediately fail the new quest to defeat the OCV. So you basically have to bring Phanon alive as a real faction and then help them grow, and eventually they will help you to defeat the OCV. So we need to find a good sector for them, and since they are friendly to the terraformers, we can put their sector close to the Xenon territory. That's where they will be safest from the other factions. So that's the kind of twist that they have. So the plan is to search for a nearby jump beacon from the Terrans, take it over, load it into our new colony ship here, and then we can use it to bring our fleet from our territory, let it jump somewhere safe in this corner here, and then take over one of these sectors, maybe clear out a Xenon sector and then give it to Phanon. What's also very important to know is that Phanon sectors have a very special ability. They project sort of a jamming field, which messes with Xenon and OCV sensors, and everything that's inside or right next to a Phanon sector is safe from terraformer attacks. So they kind of betrayed the OCV behind their backs. The OCV doesn't really know that Phanon is not really on their playing side anymore. And they have developed this secret jamming ability where they can confuse the OCV sensors and basically mark any ships as terraformers so that the OCV doesn't attack them. So in short, when you have a Phanon sector, you can have your own ships or other factions' ships right next to it, and they will not get attacked by the Xenon. Or you can have your own sector next to a Phanon sector, and it will not get invaded by the OCV or by the Xenon. So you can set up sort of in a small area with a Phanon sector, and then your sector's right next to it, and then you will be safe, even very close to the OCV Maelstrom. And that's a very cool new ability. They also help you to terraform. So that's like a like your partner faction, which provides the robots which are performing the terraforming, and this can improve your sectors. And they benefit a lot from having high abnormal signals for their sectors, because this gives them a straight discount on their ship production. It's like a production boost. So if we would give them like Twisted Skies here, they could build ships 31% cheaper in this sector. And then we could take a sector right next to it, for example this one here with 2 planets, terraform those. You need to have an adjacent Phanon sector for terraforming. And then you can boost those stats here, population, station support, and the like. So this allows for some crazy new strategies. But let's go for the jump beacon first. Let's fly to a Terran memory sector nearby. Like this one, where we can find a jump beacon. And you need a capital ship to load a jump beacon in. And then we can look for a good candidate to be the first Phanon sector. Yeah, they have their own ship set, including some really massive ships, which are coming straight out of Stellaris. But this faction really starts out very weak and needs your support in their earliest stages. This colony ship is also well armed and shielded, and it's a TL which doesn't cost maintenance. So it can be worthwhile to just keep with it and don't give Phanon their first sector, especially since you might have to defend them from other factions that you don't actually want to go to war with. So that's also supposed to be a little bit of a challenge. So when you feel ready, you can bring Phanon to life once you have found a good location. And until then, you have a nice ship. And if you don't like the idea of having a separate faction that is friendly with you and that you kind of need to support, then you don't have to mess with this content entirely. And you can keep this ship forever or just delete it or whatever. So it's completely optional. But if you want to defeat the OCV, you have to engage with this new quest line. And right now our quest is to give Phanon a sector. So you need to be in an empty sector or one of your sectors, and then you can go to player console and then transfer sector and then transfer it to Phanon. But it only works when the colony ship is present. Once they have a sector, you can give any empty sector or your sector to Phanon. And of course it has a large cargo space. The Xenon have cleared out some stations and freighters, leaving good loot behind. So I can pick up those 8,000 quantum tubes. Which is quite massive, to be honest. And 1,000 microchips. Thank you very much. I missed it. There. If you ever want to get lots of infamy, then you can go near the Xenon border and search for one of these humanitarian aid transporters. Popping one of them gives like 10 infamy or so. And they also carry some resources. It's basically a ship that gets created when the Xenon destroy a factory, and then they save whatever resources they had and head over to a trading station to sell them. Here we have another load of quantum tubes. So with this much we can actually skip building any more quantum tube factories in our sector. because I also had noticed that I had a T-file option active in this game that I didn't want, but that I can't deactivate during the game, where the trading stations are trading in quantum tubes. That's just a new option that you can activate in the T-file. By default, it should be off, but I had the setting wrong. That's just because the production chain for quantum tubes is so long and requires so many factories. And if you want to just be able to buy them and skip to build those factories for yourself, then you can use this T-file option and get your quantum tubes from the trading stations. On default, they don't trade in any final tier ship parts, because that would mess up the entire economy, because factions which are losing the logistics game could simply buy their ship parts, and since they have unlimited money, it wouldn't make sense to make those ship parts available on the open market. So the only thing that is traded by the trading stations are the intermediate resources, but not the high-end ship parts. Every faction has to produce them by its own. So the Xenon are very active in this area. I have witnessed multiple strong fleets on my way up here. And we had those Doom stacks waiting at the Maelstrom, which will eventually go on their way. So if I had to make a guess, there is a big wave, a big expansion wave by the Xenon incoming during the next day or so. It all takes very long in this game, but you can kind of predict what's gonna happen next. And I got a feeling that we will see many more of these brown sectors. Let's get out of the colony ship and claim the jump beacon. Every sector with a Terran memory has an abandoned jump beacon. And if you just fly close in a spacesuit, you can claim them. And then we will pick them up with the TL and try to get our fleets in. And what I also want to do is start an actual Paranid fleet. Those pesky spacesuit controls. Please make a full stop. Yeah, right there. Up until now, we are still using mostly pirate ships, and those will get more expensive when we lose the last of our infamy. And since we are also a Paranid, our origin faction, I want to use Paranid ships just for roleplay reasons. We do have the money to afford lots more ships now. We make about 4 times more tax income than our ships and sectors cost in maintenance. So we can start to raise our fleet power. Well, let's get back into the TL and pick up the jump beacon. All right. So I'm going for those 2 sectors down here. This one has pretty high abnormal signals, so it is very well suited as a starting sector for Phanon. It's a direct production discount for them. And this one here has 5 planets. And this is good for terraforming. So I will make this a Phanon sector and this a player sector. Let's go down here. And then search for a good Phanon ship to research. Of course, we will start with a fighter because they are easy to unlock. And I think, yeah, this menu has been overhauled. This is the ship compendium. I have decluttered it quite a bit and added a new damage per second row here. Because of the fixed loadouts, all ships now have a distinct weapon loadout and we can calculate how much damage they do. And you can also sort by damage now if you like, to find out who has the best guns. And I think as for the ship that we're gonna research, it's gonna be sort by faction. It's either gonna be the Medusa or the Perseus. And I believe the Perseus gives us more bang for the buck. We could go for a special variant with more speed. Which actually does higher damage. Why does it do higher damage? Not quite sure. I think we will go for the for the Sentinel variant. It has a bit more hull points, makes it a bit more durable. And I don't care as much for the speed. So let's go to the research station and we will just abort the current TL research, add in the Perseus. Well, it takes a lot more research than the standard version, so we could also scan the basic ship in a Phanon fleet maybe. Well, let's just start researching the Perseus and then the Hercules. Yeah. Okay, and we're also gonna get our TL ready, which is still carrying some factories. And I want him to load up a outpost. We still have one, but just build another one. Loading up an outpost, and then we can also jump the TL in and build our own outpost in the sector once we have cleared the Xenon out. And now we go east. In terms of fleet power, we are quite capable at this point. I do have 2 fleets stationed here and here at the fringes of the Yaki territory. They are blocking off the pirates who are spilling out of there. And I just keep them on patrol to defend those sectors so that the pirates cannot enter my space. And I have been churning out Paranet fighters in 4 outposts. This should be enough to level that Xenon station here. So let's deploy the jump beacon from our ship, and then we call in the Washi, and we let the new fighter fleet follow them, I believe. I don't want to group them into one fleet yet. We might not need all of them. And the Washis are quite expensive when they are undocked. So let all followers come here, please. And then you can see the full might of the fleet that we have here. And we just tell the Washi to invade. And take out the last Xenon defenders. Can also call in some fighters to defend this jump beacon. Like you. It's our only link to the rest of the galaxy, and we cannot afford to lose it. Or our fleet will be stuck down here. We could also just merge all ships together and then split the fleet in half. That seems better. So I'm selecting the fighter fleet. There are also 7 corvettes. And then we say merge this fleet into the Washis. And now we have just 1 fleet with all ships inside, and then we can say split this fleet. And then we have 2 fleets with 2 Washis each, and it has split the battle power roughly in half. And then we send one of them to go and defend the gate. Because I'm really scared that something is coming and just taking out the jump beacon. We don't need that. You can also see the nice range that those cap ships have now. Very decent. We can actually increase the scanning range because the actual range on the lasers is so high that ships can engage at longer distances, and it's fine. There he pops. No losses so far. But we're also superior in firepower, so we might as well go and take on those larger Xenon fleets, make a big sweep and expand all the way down here. But I don't want to get too cocky. And you can see the flight paths of those bigger ships. They are a bit better now. I have improved the waypoints when they are attacking a big target like a station. Then previously it would just give them too many waypoints and they will constantly adjust their course. Now they are flying more in a straight line before making another waypoint, and then this gives you just a better circle around the station. And of course the higher range of the guns also helps. So the flight pathing of the cap ships, it's much better. Alright, the station is almost down. We can call in our TL. He should have an outpost loaded up. Yes, he does. We can even load 2 outposts. And then you can come to me, boy. Now the Borons have conquered another sector. It seems they are pushing into Yaki territory. I'm fine with that. But the TL should come in any minute. There he is. Did take him a while, and now we can build. Now where are your outposts? I believe I have unloaded them and not loaded them. Very smart of me. So let's try that again. We can put the outpost closer to the gate, next to the jump beacon, something like this. And then I'm popping out all this loot that I have collected with the colony ship. And we can also let the F undock, because next we will go into the other sector and give it to Phanon. And this will destroy the colony ship, so my Hercules is gonna pick up all those quantum tubes that we have collected before. And I will switch over into the F. And the colony ship can go into the next sector. And our fleets, you can follow or escort this guy up here. And you can make another stand at this sector and hold off the Xenon, who might come to say hello. Now I believe my TL is taking so long because he still has a fighter fleet attached to him. Right. I assigned those as protection. but it's also wasting a bit of time when they are docking and undocking. So let's just have them here for the time being, so that the Hercules can get a move on. It doesn't have to wait.